Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Miller, and I am a general studies major with a concentration in social and behavioral sciences, and I have minors in sociology, anthropology, and sustainability studies.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa Baines. I'm getting my bachelor's degree in biology with minors in sustainability, chemistry, and Spanish.
Hi, my name is Ruth Bander, and I'm doing my graduate certificate in sustainability. I also have a master's degree in public affairs.
My name is Caitlin. I'm majoring in biology. My minors are in chemistry and sustainability.
Our group focused on wetlands and their importance to our environment.
All right, so to begin our talk today, I want us all to imagine a world full of biodiversity first, a world full of ecosystems flourishing with different plants and animal species, a world where wetland protection isn't even discussed because not only are they protected, but people are aware of them and their importance. Unfortunately, that is not the case right now, as not a lot of people know about wetlands and what they do, which brings us to our hot topic today of wetlands and why they matter and why they should matter to you.
So to begin with, we need to understand what wetlands are and why we really need to care about them. So wetlands are areas as defined by the Environmental Protection Agency, where water is at the level of the soil, covers it either year-round or most parts of the year, even including growing seasons. You do have some images on your screen right now. Going from left, working our way in the upper right, we have swamps, marshes, bogs, and fens. Those are the four major categories. You can sort and categorize wetlands by where they are geographically, what types of plants, animals inhabit them, type of soil, nutrients involved, but they all come together for a really important purpose that we'll get to later on. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to the next person now.
There are many aspects to the wetland ecosystem in terms of why they're important, the issues surrounding their demise, and the role we play as a society in the terms of securing or threatening their future. I'm specifically referring to policy we create that impacts them. For example, Indiana Senate Bill 389.
So to begin with, let's talk about all the good that wetlands do for us. The major overlaying feature I'm going to talk about is biological productivity. That's basically saying, how productive is this ecosystem? So not only looking at the plants and animals that inhabit it and what they do for the ecosystem and the communities around it, but even down to the microorganisms. So all these other bullet points I'm going to go through one by one, and these all contribute to how productive this ecosystem is as a whole, not only for our society, but really the entire world in general. So let's start with water storage infiltration. So a really key function of wetlands is recharging groundwater supplies and even moderating the flow of streams, rivers, and the like. Next, we're going on to purification. So in a watershed, it's really important that we have clean water, controlling water control and quality, and that's what helps that. Next, they also are key in flood protection. So not only do they help reduce the damage caused by floods by both absorbing, storing, and slowing the flow of water if it does happen to get past them, it also creates an area afterwards where wildlife is more likely to return to. Next, we have food security. So not only food for the plants, animals, microorganisms that live there, but also people as well. So according to the World Wildlife Fund, wetlands also provide an agricultural value with the cultivation of rice. This is a staple in a majority of the country's diet and even the world's diet. So it helps us as well as the animals and plants that inhabit it. Speaking of habitation, we're looking at animals threatened by human encroachment. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, more than a third of the species that live in wetlands only live in wetlands. So they're incredibly essential to a large portion of species. They're also really important for migratory birds. So these offer areas of rest. They offer the ability for them to breed, nest, even rear their young in a safe environment, and allow them to socialize with other birds in the area, which is also really key for their health and well-being. And finally, we have the recreation capabilities of the ecosystem as a whole. So this allows people in the communities locally, nationally, and the like to really see the beauty of how wetlands work and how you can actually be a more integral part of your own local wetland. They offer activities such as kayaking, canoeing, fishing, hiking, biking, and even watching those birds we mentioned about.
So let's look at the bad side. The bad side is the decay of wetlands, or the destructions that wetlands are facing. So approximately 35% of the world's wetlands were lost between 1970s and 1915. As of now in 2021, it's believed that more than 50% of wetlands have been lost in the past 100 years. So what is the major cause of wetland destructions? The first one is believed to be mostly human activities. Human activities have actually caused the changing water quality, the quantity of water and the flow rates. Also, increasing pollutants inputs into these wetlands has actually caused them to be destroyed. Agriculture is one of those destructions that have actually been made on those wetlands, because the soil normally has nutrition that boost most of the crops on the soils or on the fields that have agricultural practices. At the same time, wetlands are facing climate change. The climate change is one of the major causes, and this change is actually the natural cause. So we're looking at things such as floods, cyclones, and as well as droughts and fire. All these natural causes can be a major threat to wetlands, and that have actually caused a destruction of wetlands over the past 100 years, and also they are the threat of these natural causes. So what are the effects of these destructions? These destructions actually are causing an increase in floods, drought, as well as nutrient runoff on soils, water pollution. We also have decline in wildlife pollution. We are going to look at the agri side. The agri side is that the Senate Bill 381. So the Senate bill just aims to remove the permit process that is needed to build on isolated wetlands. As of this year in February, there was this bill passed the General Assembly, and it awaits the governor's signature to make it go into the law. So normally what this bill is actually authorizing is that it's going to eliminate the protection of class 1 wetlands as well as class 2 wetlands. That means wetlands are no longer going to have protection on them, and the people who are into development can actually go there and develop them. As well as at the same time, the homeowners are actually against this bill as compared to the developers on the that are on the land. So on the wetland now, most of the time, these people, developers, are looking to carry along agricultural activities or just building infrastructures that will bring them profits, and forgetting about the importance of wetlands.
So where do we go from here? So we know wetlands are important. We've seen the various benefits. We've also seen how they're in danger. So first we have to start small. So as our group decided, we decided to focus on the IOSB wetlands. We are lucky enough to have 2 wetlands on our campus, and we decided that knowledge is key. So a survey was done by our very own Professor Bailey last year that demonstrated that less than 50% of the people that took the survey knew what wetlands were or even their function. So being able to help promote the growth and function of wetlands really starts with knowing what they are. So not only educating people about what they are, also working on our wetlands by introducing native species and removing invasive species to make sure they grow and are doing well. And really our short-term vision overall was to change, create change for individuals in our local communities so they're becoming an active part of the wetland ecosystem, or at least stopping their own degradation of it. So now we're looking at our big picture. Where do we see, 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years from now? Obviously, this is just a start, but our goal was, of course, to get the IUSB wetlands in a good, proper shape, make sure they're flourishing. Then we're going to look at statewide, nationwide, worldwide wetland ecosystems and be sure that they're doing the same thing that we were able to demonstrate here locally. And from there, our huge overlying compelling vision that we see for the whole project is really just to create a clean, biodiverse, and healthy future for all, one ecosystem at a time.
Awesome, yes. But just like Caitlin was saying, to get to this big, compelling vision, we have to start small, which our group did. So our group obviously focused our presentation and project around wetlands, specifically looking at our local campus wetlands. So to begin this project, we had to understand a couple things. First, looking at what we as individuals and group members knew about wetlands ourselves, which was nothing in the beginning. But after reading, oh, what was that noise? I don't know. I'm sorry if you hear that. I don't know what it is. Anyways, but looking at the library is going to close in 15 minutes, in case you guys were wondering. Okay, anyways, moving on. What we knew about wetlands, so kind of our baseline data surrounding that. So after learning and reading articles about wetlands from the World Wildlife Fund and also the Environmental Protection Agency, and also our own personal tour from Dr. Mar herself on the local IUSB wetlands, we were given a knowledge surrounding not only global wetlands, but also our local wetlands and what they provide for the community. But knowing this, we had to ask ourselves how we could spread this to the community. So as Caitlin mentioned, we were given a survey from Professor Bailey, given the knowledge that our community members knew about wetlands, which was also very slim. So this created a wonderful opportunity for us to not only spread our awareness to people who know nothing about wetlands, but also to people who may not understand what they mean to our community. And after gathering our information, we had to ask ourselves, how can we create this change in not only an interesting way, but in a way that relays a big amount of information to a group of people who want to know about them. So how conveniently, every year IUSB hosts an Earth and Arbor Day event in which community members are able to come and remove invasive species and plant native species. So last Friday on Earth Day, volunteers came to the Veterans Memorial Park to plant native species, and this coming Friday and Saturday, volunteers will be working on the wetlands themselves, specifically removing a bunch of invasive species. So to create this conversation for change and create awareness about the wetlands, this was a key event in our project because we were given the opportunity to share our knowledge that we acquired and create a presentation video that was going to be dispersed to the volunteers that would be working on the wetlands themselves. So this is key because not only are the volunteers community members who probably care about the environment, but this event also holds a huge motivation factor because as we're coming near the end of the semester, people need those service hours, and if you're part of the honors program, it also counts as an event. So it's pulling together people who care about the environment and also people who may not realize that they should care about the environment. And then also as we're creating this video and it's being dispersed to these volunteers and they're watching it and then going to the wetlands themselves and working on the project, they're probably more they're more inclined to spread their tales of the wetlands, and this will create the conversation for change and an opportunity to spread awareness. So our little project in the works, this is the video that we created.
So Vanessa, your audio is not working. You'll need to adjust your sharing to allow the audio to go through.
All right. Do we know how to do that?
I posted in the chat to you some instructions. Pretty simple.
Oh, chat instructions. Okay. Sharing, select share sound in the bottom left corner. Okay. Share sound, bottom left corner. Share. Unfortunately, I am technologically not advanced. Where is the bottom left corner and where is this option? Audio settings? Oh, share sound. Haha, I got it. Okay, let's try this again.
Hello, everyone. We just wanted to start by saying thank you for participating in this Earth Day event. My name is Emily, and I'm here with Ruth, Vanessa, and Caitlin. We are all sustainability students at IUSB, and we're going to educate you about wetlands and why your work matters.
So firstly, what are wetlands? As defined by the Environmental Protection Agency, wetlands are areas where water covers the soil or is present either at or near the surface of the soil all year or for varying periods of time during the year, even including growing seasons. There are 4 different types of wetlands, going from left to right. We have marshes, swamps, bogs, and fens, and they all tie in to an overall importance for wetlands. The key importance for wetlands include water storage, for example, storing and also slowing floodwaters during flooding seasons, water filtration, biological productivity, providing habitats for various species of fish and birds that might otherwise not have a place to go, especially during migratory seasons, as well as erosion control.
So wetland on campus. We have 2 wetlands on campus, the east and the west wetland as indicated in the area photograph, area A and area B. These wetlands are located on the community housing hostels and they are maintained by the biology department. Both of these wetlands would get floods and also invasive plants that would usually come and grow in these wetlands. So after this, I'll talk about the importance of these wetlands on campus. The USB wetland matters. They usually filter water in the St. Joe River. Biodiversity, we have birds of different species, amphibians, and pollinators such as bees that give fertilization to the native plants that are located on these wetlands.
So, as you can see from this video, this is a panorama of the west side wetland on campus. As you can see, it's kind of dead right now due to the winter months, but as spring continues and summer arrives, these different plants will flourish and this dead wetland will become a beautiful scenery for the different native species that will come to it. Moving on from the west side wetland, we have the east side wetland. So this is also looking pretty dead right now, but as summer continues to come, this will become a beautiful area for different species. So, as volunteers on the Arbor Day Earth Day event, you will be pulling different invasive species that are on these different wetlands, specifically looking at the purple loosestrife, the Phragmites common reed, and then also various young woody plants such as cottonwood, willow, and sumac plane.
As you're out there removing invasive species, remember how important your role is to this community. Wetlands everywhere are so important, but the future biodiversity of our wetlands on campus is possible due to your hard work. As a community, we thank you for your service and dedication. Hello, everyone. We just wanted to start by saying.
So what will it cost? You can look at this in 2 ways. The first way is what we have to sacrifice to put our thoughts into action. For example, those pulling invasive species from the wetlands are volunteering their time to physically remove the invasive species, but also taking time to educate themselves about the wetland before the event. IUSB is providing tools for the volunteers as well as in meals, so that kind of counts towards the money side of things. The second way to look at this is what it will cost us if we don't take action. We cannot stress enough just how important wetlands are. Without wetlands, we'd lose benefits they offer like water purification, erosion protection, and wildlife that live there. For our campus specifically, our wetlands help protect student housing when the river rises. In a broader sense, though, the benefits that wetlands provide are ultimately priceless. Looking forward, one thing we try to emphasize in our video was that the work that the volunteers were doing is very much appreciated. Maintaining our wetlands is a continuous battle, so much so that there are local and even global organizations whose main objective is to conserve and maintain wetlands. Perhaps the most important part of this project was the ability to gain knowledge about wetlands and then the ability to share this knowledge with others to create a better environment for everyone.